Welcome everybody to Severe Weather Update. It is May the 1st, 2022, and we have a potential severe weather situation developing today in western Texas with some possibility of tornadoes. Just want to thank everybody that tuned into my live stream the other night. That was the first time I've ever live streamed, so I was barely knew how to do it, but it seemed to work. I got a lot of viewers, and all I was doing was scrolling around with the radar, so I'll probably do that again once I figure it out a little better. Just need to practice a little bit without being live and work on my OBS studio skills, which I'm not too good at. Anyway, I enjoyed doing this, so thanks for tuning in. Let's get right to it. The Storm Prediction Center has an enhanced risk, which is a 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather in western Texas today. And I will show you the timing of that in a little bit when we get to the model guidance. But if I have the actual Storm Prediction Center convective outlook up in the upper left corner of the display, but I also have it here on the main display so you can see the cities that are affected. The enhanced risk includes Lubbock, Texas, Amarillo, Texas, Abilene, Texas, Midland, Texas, Odessa, Texas. If you live in this area, you know other cities better than I do because I don't live in Texas. The slight risk is outside of that area that includes Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, some of the larger population centers. But you can't rule out severe weather or a tornado in those cities either. But it's really the enhanced risk where I think the tornado threat is the greatest. And when I mean greatest, it's 5% of within any 25-mile area that a tornado may form. And you can see that if you click on the tornado portion of this convective outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. That covers, again, well, it does cover Fort Worth and Arlington. So they have the 5% risk even in the slight risk area, Lubbock, Amarillo, Grand Prairie. So you can see, again, on this map, if you live in this vicinity, look on this map and see if you fall close to the 5% area. You need to be on the lookout for severe weather starting probably around 3 o'clock this afternoon and going into maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's a long threat today. Let's now look at the day 2 convective outlook. Just since I'm doing this video, you can see that there's an enhanced risk or 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather in southern parts of Kansas and northern parts of central Oklahoma tomorrow. So that's tomorrow. But we're going to focus today on the Texas threat. Let's look at something called the NATOcast. This is from natocast.com or at NATOcast on Twitter. I want to give credit to whoever comes up with these. I think this is a computer model of the chance of tornadoes, and you can see it's in that West Texas area is where it's concentrated, but also a little bit in the northern Texas area. You can see that brown 5% shade. So that's very interesting. And there's also some slight risk of tornadoes in Ohio and Pennsylvania today as well, like less than 2%, 2 to 3%. All right, let's move on to this composite reflectivity. This is the forecast radar for this afternoon. Right now, I have it at 20Z. 20Z is 3 p.m., and you can start to see some of those supercells forming in western parts of Texas. The reason why the supercells are different is because they're discrete, and they are the ones that usually form the most damaging tornadoes, as opposed to when a cold front comes through or a squall line. There are always tornadoes that develop in some spin along the line, but all of the live streamers and the storm chasers are always looking for these discrete supercells that can develop tornadoes on their own rather than as part of a squall line. I don't know why that is, but that's what we have today. We don't have a cold front coming through, I don't believe. This is just convective energy in the atmosphere that triggers these isolated supercells to form at certain times, and those can result in large tornadoes. So that's what we have developing this afternoon. Again, this is 20Z. That's about 3 p.m. Let's just take it 1 hour at a time. Let's go back here. So 20Z, that's, again, 3 p.m. Central Daylight Time, 4 p.m., 5 p.m. You can see it firing up, 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and you can see it starts to shift into the central and eastern portions of Texas. And by 5Z, which is midnight, you can see there's still quite a bit of storm activity. So I really put this thread in anywhere from 3 p.m. to midnight in Texas, starting obviously in the eastern portions of Texas and moving into central and central Texas by later in the day and later in the evening. Another thing I like to look at is the significant tornado parameter. And again, we'll try to do the same time frame starting at 20Z. This is from the HRRR model, which I think is the model. Yeah, that's the model I just used also for the radar, projected radar. And you can see not too much. This is 21Z. This is 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. is when you start to see some of the threes and 3.5s starting to form. So from a tornado standpoint, I think that's probably the time where you're going to see the greatest threat of tornado activity is starting at around 6 p.m. or so. And you can see that they're discrete, though. It's not a huge area that's covered by these orange and 3 to 3.5 range figures. So they're going to be isolated tornadoes, but in a large area where it's possible. And again, this is just a prediction. This is not going to be exactly where these tornadoes will form, but you can see that the atmosphere is ripe for the development of discrete supercells which could create tornadoes. This is 04Z, which is 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m. So it's all the way till about 1 a.m. You're seeing some orange on this map in parts of Texas. All right, well, that's all I have for you right now. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. Hit the like button if you don't mind. That would help me get a little more traction on this channel. But I enjoy doing these videos, and we'll continue to do them. And I'll probably do another live stream soon, but I won't be doing one today. Check out Ryan Hall Y'all or Nate Snyder for good radar coverage. This afternoon, I'm sure they'll be live streaming starting, I'm going to guess, around 3 to 4 p.m. It's just my guess based on what I just showed you here. And those guys are great. And but this is a lot of fun for me. But again, and I want to say some prayers for the people in Kansas, Andover, Kansas. There was a pretty bad tornado there, but I don't think there was very many injuries. But it was some significant property damage in that area. I think we had that on the radar the other night, but there were so many tornado warnings that I wasn't focusing on any particular one for the most part. But that turned out to be the worst tornado of the night, the Andover, Kansas tornado. So prayers to the people of Andover, Kansas. And that just goes to show you, though, you just don't know when or where they're going to form within the enhanced risk area. That wasn't in the enhanced risk area. So, and it was tornado warned. It was on the map that we had on at the time. But you just don't know exactly where they're going to form. Some of the ones on radar look like really bad tornadoes, and they're not actually touching the ground. And then that one did not look, at least from what I remember, not very, very impressive on radar, although we might have been in a radar hole or I had a different radar on, and that turned out to be by far the worst tornado of the night. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, but that's just an example of, you got to be, if you're in these areas, you need to be aware of the weather conditions and be ready to seek shelter and get to the lowest interior portion of your home with no windows or in a basement if a tornado approaches you. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it. Thank you.